Hi there. This is my review of the Ruger Precision Rifle. I just purchased this rifle not too long ago, and I've basically just pretty much finished breaking in the barrel. I'm still doing a little bit of it, in which case I, fire off a shot, clean it, fire off a shot, clean it. Do you need to break in the barrel of a rifle? I have no idea. On some rifles I've done it. On this one, this was kind of a big purchase for me, despite the fact it's not an expensive rifle. For me it is. I will go ahead and do the barrel break-in because, heck, why not? It's just time at this point. And a little bit of ammo. And it gives me a good opportunity to kind of get used to the rifle without worrying too much about my group sizes or whatever. But in doing so, I noticed that, you know what, this thing's pretty accurate. And I decided to shoot a couple groups for accuracy. And just concentrating on that, not cleaning the barrel between the shots, just shooting my 5-round group and seeing how it does. Now, I didn't spend a lot of time between shots. I pretty much ran them fairly decently quick. You know what? This thing has it's really comfortable, and it's got virtually no recoil because it's a fairly heavy rifle. And the bolt has a nice short throw, so it's, you know what, it's hard to kind of take your time with it. It's made to go fast as far as I can tell. It is for me anyway, but that's not what the rifle's about. It's not throwing a hail of lead downrange. But anyway, I was going to actually do this video outside and do some close-ups of the rifle. You know what? Ruger has a pretty good video in that regard right on their website, and a lot of people have done videos talking about that. So really what I want to try and get out from my perspective is the rifle accurate? You know what, if you only watch a little bit of the video and you get this from it, just like my Browning BLR video, same thing, I'm going to hit on accuracy first because the rifle is extremely accurate. Ruger advertises it as a half MOA rifle, and with my experience it delivers that and probably a bit more with a bit of time and patience behind the trigger. And this is without spending anything significant. You know what? My scope was less than $300. And that's what I threw on top of it. A lot of people will spend a lot more on an optic. I won't really, to be honest. I'm not a scope snob or anything like that. If I had tons of money to throw around, would I? Yeah, probably. Probably I'd get clearer glass, so on and so forth. But I'm not a huge fan of throwing tons and tons of money on an optic. I'd rather spend that money on ammunition and get time behind the trigger and enjoy that experience instead. I don't talk about my optics. It's not a big thing for me. It's just, if it works, I kind of stick with it. And there's a few brands that are kind of popular that I don't like just because I've had bad experience with them. Vortex has always been there for me, so you know what? It's just something that works. And I'm not paid to do this or say any of this to anybody. If I don't like something, I just come right out and say it. I.e. loopholed. I don't like their optics. I used to, but they've done nothing but fail me. But that's not what this video is about. Okay, so you start with, the first time I had this rifle out, I was only able to find 2 boxes of ammunition here on Vancouver Island. And I drove around looking for it. I made an excursion to find it. And I only found 2 boxes in pretty much any gun store I could quickly imagine that didn't have me up on the northern end of the island, which probably wouldn't have any anyway. And if they did, well, I'll kick myself later. But it was like 2 boxes of Winchester match, 140 grain, bow-tail hollow point. Again, I was mostly breaking in the barrel, and then it started to pour rain, so I stopped with enough ammo left over for me to shoot a 5-round group with it today, just so I could show you the paper. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. If not, I'll just say it. There it is. It's a 5-round group, 4 rounds really tight here with 1 flyer. Even with the flyer, it's a 1/2-inch group. Without that flyer, it'd probably be 0.2 to 0.3 perhaps. Pretty small group. That shows a lot of promise. Like I say, you know, when I was breaking in the barrel, where I'd shoot and clean it, shoot, clean it, I was getting some pretty good groups. Is that normally how I'd shoot the rifle? No, so I won't include them. But I shot some pretty crazy good groups doing that. So I suspect the rifle's going to like a clean bore, which is the opposite of my Remington 700P, which I sold to facilitate this rifle. Plus I didn't have room to have both of them. If you see from my other videos, I live in some pretty cramped quarters, so one comes in, one has to go. So anyway, next up is Hornady match. They had a lot to do with the 6.5 Creedmoore, so this kind of makes sense. It would work pretty good too. This is 140 grain ELD match. Again, 140 grain. I haven't had a chance to try anything else because this is all I could find. Now, I got a good supply of this. I found somebody that had it in Canada and I ordered a bunch of it. And that's the brass I'm going to be using for reloading. Am I always going to buy off-the-shelf ammo? Heck no, I can't afford it. It's crazy expensive, so I won't do it. I can reload for a pretty reasonable rate, so that's what I'll be doing. And yes, I've secured a supply of Sierra Match King 140 grain. I'm pretty confident at this point it'll shoot fine once I find what I need to put behind the bullet. Anyway, here's how the Hornady did. That is a .55 group. Same deal. I've got 4 shots in a really, really tight group and then a single flyer. With the single flyer, it's .55. Get rid of that flyer and I think I'd measured this one to be at .2. I was pretty impressed. Likewise, when I was doing the barrel cleaning or whatever, and doing this, I was getting similar groups to this and a bit better. Are most people going to clean the barrel after every shot? Probably not. So I'm not going to include those. But this is just me running a bunch through the magazine. So, off the shelf, with the rifle and the ammo, you get half-inch groups. That's pretty damn impressive. And that pretty much right there makes the rifle worth every penny I spent on it. Was it worth giving up my trusty Remington 700 Police that I've had for years and loved it? Yeah, I think so. It was sad to see it go. In any other situation, I would have kept it. I wouldn't have gotten rid of that rifle. It was, by and large, it was a good heavy rifle too, but it wasn't nearly as heavy as this thing. So feasibly, could I carry it around? Yeah, it was kind of a beat up old rifle, so I didn't feel, I Duracoated the whole thing all OD green. So I was quite happy to slug it along with me to a spot and take some long range shots. Will I feel as comfortable doing that with this thing? Not yet. I'm going to need to put some scratches in it before I'm willing to do that. It'll happen probably. I'm not huge on aesthetics or whatever. Am I going to take good care of it? Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about why I like the rifle so much. Okay, first of all, every time I thought, okay, if I had spare money to spend and I wanted to improve my Remington 700, what would I do? And pretty much everything I could imagine doing, this rifle already has. Right off the shelf, they've done it. It's like right from start to finish, they just hit the top of my wish list. Which is why I kind of went, you know what? Not sure how accurate, if it's going to be a better rifle than my Remington 700. But with all the other things I want on it, I'll take the chance. So, because I knew getting this, I would have to get rid of the other one. I just had to. So, let's go through the list of things. Okay, first of all, it's offered in only 3 chamberings, but they really hit the important ones, I think. First, 6.5 Creedmoore, which was actually my last choice in chamberings. Why? Because it's so crazy hard to find off-the-shelf ammo for it. My first choice and my second choice, 308, then 243. Both those you can find off-the-shelf ammo. It may not be the greatest ammo in the world, but you know what? If you've seen my past videos, some of the cheapest ammo out there, Federal Blue Box, I think it's a Power Shock or whatever, some of the cheapest off-the-shelf ammo you can find in Canada, and you find it pretty much anywhere in 308 and 243. It works. It's usually decently accurate. Is it a precision match grade ammunition? No, but will it get the job done if I just want to throw some lead at a steel plate and have an afternoon of fun and I don't feel like reloading? yeah, I can do it, and it's not too crazy expensive. And I get the joy of fireforming some brass so I can neck size it down and for my reloads. So it's kind of a win-win thing. Can I do that with 6.5 Creedmoore? No, I can't. I hear Federal's coming out with 6.5 American Eagle. If that ever shows up in Canada and it's not $40 a box or $2 a shot, I will be overjoyed. I love Federal brass for reloading. That being said, can't find it right now. So I'm going to use Hornady brass. Hornady brass is fine. It's pretty decent. Winchester, not so much. So I'm not sure what I'll do with my Winchester brass. Probably once I have a package of it, I will probably sell it online and recoup some of my cost from it, because people are looking for brass. If I'm not going to use it, I might as well let somebody else that's willing to use it shoot it. And I'm sure it'll do fine. Whatever. Anyway, another thing I liked about the rifle, it's got a nice bolt design. It's very smooth. It's got a 3-lug bolt, 70-degree throw. Big fan of that. Again, it just begs to, you can run it nice and fast. It's easy to run fast. It's just, I didn't even have to really get used to it. I thought I would have to acclimatize to the rifle a bit. I really didn't. Another thing I like about it, it's got a built-in 20 MOA rail. Again, that's one of those things where, yeah, the purchase price of the rifle may be high from a bone stock off-the-shelf Remington 700 or Savage 10 or whatever, what have you, but it comes with the 20 MOA rail built right in, so you're not going to spend that money. So right there, there's $100 to $150 Canadian off the table that you don't have to spend. It's got a good rail built right into it. Good solid steel Picatinny rail. Lots of real estate to move around your optic wherever you want it. I love it. The rifle is very modular in design, kind of similar to an AR, and it is interchangeable with AR components. It's got a steel upper and aluminum lower receiver. Perfectly fine with the aluminum lower. That's plenty strong for that component. Like I said, the components are interchangeable with AR style. The stock, the forend, and the grip are all interchangeable with AR style components of that nature. That being said, I like what the rifle comes with just fine. A lot of people initially say that, oh, I'm going to get the rifle and then I'm going to change the forend. That blows me away. It's like, it's perfectly functional. It looks good. It's a key mod. You can hang your bipod off. It free floats a barrel. It looks decent. It's, you know, it's got a Picatinny rail. It's not badly manufactured or anything. It's a good component. It's pretty much all one piece. I like it. And likewise, you know, I could almost see changing the grip if you didn't like it. That'd be probably my one component. You know, different people's hands like different things. So I could see changing the grip to a different style AR grip. You know, some of them have the little latch compartments on the bottom or whatever, and you can, you know, put batteries or whatever in there, or maybe some cleaning stuff or whatever. I should point out there's a Allen key and another tool for disassembling the bolt built into a little plastic housing on the back of the bolt, so it's stored in there right with the rifle. Again, you can access it. You fold the stock, pull the bolt, and it's all right there. So you don't really need to put any of that. Would it be big enough for a bore snake? Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I'm not going to change a grip. Again, I'd rather spend the money on ammunition. If I stumble across a grip I really, really want to try, perhaps, but you know what? This felt fine. Again, I got behind it, and once I got the stock adjusted up to where I wanted it to be, I was good to go. Would I change this stock? No, because it's adjustable, it's comfortable, I like it. And that's another thing a lot of people initially want to tinker with, is changing the stock. I think you're fine if you just put your time into getting it adjusted. It folds, and it's, you know, once it locks in, it's nice and tight. So I really like it, and particularly for me, right? I like something that I can, you know what, this is a pretty big rifle, yet I can fold the stock, and it's shorter than my Remington 700 was. I love that. That's great. Um, I think with the stock folded, it's under 3 feet, which means that it opens up possibilities of where I can store the thing. I really, really like that in here. Anyway, going on with that, the barrel comes threaded 5/8 24. Again, that's something normally you would spend money on or have to spend extra money on a firearm to get. And I don't know, what's that going to be? Another 100, 150 bucks Canadian to do and send it out. And particularly here on the island, it's hard to get somebody to do it within a reasonable time frame. The few gunsmiths that are here are really busy. Particularly there's a gentleman here that specializes in Remington 700 stuff, and his wait list is crazy. It's like 6 months or something, and he likes to. He's retired, so he takes time off in the summer. So getting stuff done by a competent gunsmith isn't easy, particularly around here. I'd have to ship it out. So that getting it already done, right off the shelf, that's a big advantage. Another advantage is if you do wear out the barrel, or you do want to upgrade the barrel. And you know what? People that immediately go and upgrade the barrel, okay, I can see that. I can totally see doing that. If I had the money, would I consider doing that? Maybe. After these groups, maybe not. But I think guys that are going to potentially use it for competition or really push it to long range, yeah, that makes sense. A barrel's a very integral component and is probably the first place I would upgrade the rifle, to be honest. You know what? I think the first thing I would perhaps get for this rifle would be a monopod. And that's not changing anything, that's adding something. That's my next thing I'm going to try and find for it, is a monopod. There's a rail on the stock specifically for that purpose, and I'll probably use it. But yeah, the barrel's easily changeable. It can be done with an AR style wrench. Again, we go to the AR style components and tools to work on this rifle. That's really cool. Likewise, I think the trigger assembly is kind of a unit component that they're looking ahead to having people change. Why you would do it, I don't know. It's very adjustable. It's right out of the box. I haven't played with my trigger, and you know what? I didn't even think about it. I just got behind the rifle and it worked for me. And usually I want to dicker around with the trigger. It just, you know what? I really wasn't even thinking about it until I shot this video. But I don't want to change the trigger. It's just fine. It's kind of the original Savage trigger with the blade. I'm fine with that. It encourages me to use the pad of my finger and not develop bad habits. I just get my finger right on there and come straight back, and I've kind of gotten used to that kind of thinking. Another really cool thing is the rifle comes with two 10-round magazines. Now, I was expecting to get Magpul magazines with it. Instead, I got steel magazines. These particular ones, there's a Ruger stamp. What are they made by? Accurate Bag, okay. Mostly all steel. Plastic follower in the magazine. I'm perfectly fine with that. You know what? The string it's very consistent. It works great. If I want to put 10 rounds in it, it doesn't rip my fingers apart to get them in there. Likewise, it's got good spring pressure, even close to the top. So it's a good magazine. I'm really happy with the two mags that came with it. So I'll probably just... will I buy more? Maybe. Do I have to? No. These two are good magazines, and two's a good number to get started. The cool thing is the rifle takes a variety of magazines. I don't even know what all the full range is off the top of my head. The big ones that I can think of are ACIS, DPMS, and Magpul. And Magpul was the one that was on the top of my head that, it comes with Magpul. Okay, I'll be able to find, Magpul magazines pretty easy. But there's this pretty decent sized list of stuff it'll work with. I think even some M14 style magazines will work in it. They're the one they're kind of hazy with. But there's a few other model types of magazines I can't really think of at this moment that will work with the rifle. That in itself is just, that's great. That's just fantastic. The the fact that it has detachable magazines and I'll take a variety of them, that kicks off a pretty big competitive edge there as far as looking for a rifle. And again, that's something that if I wanted to build that into my Remington 700, that was going to be pretty pricey. Never mind the cost of the magazines, because the magazines themselves were 70 to 80 bucks each. I think these are 100, maybe north of that now, each. So, and you get 2 of them with the rifle, along with the receiver that is already accommodating the variety of magazines. And I think the conversion kit for the Remington 700, 150 to 200 bucks Canadian. So you know what, if you want all these features, it's all of a sudden the whole rifle just kind of turns into a no-brainer. The rifle itself, okay, negatives. Is this really a negative? But I'll kind of throw it in there as a negative, but not really, not for me. I want the rifle to be heavy. I want to reduce recoil. My plan isn't to carry this thing all over the place. It's to set it up and shoot it a lot from a position. In a situation like around here, I'm literally right out the door. There's my shooting table. I move the vehicle to where I'm going to shoot. So the rifle just goes outside and in. Do I care how heavy it is? No, if it was 25 pounds, I really wouldn't care that much. That being said, I could carry this rifle around a little bit and not be too bitter. But the range of the weight is 9.7 pounds for the 308 and 11 pounds for the 243. Longer barrel on the 243, shorter barrel on the 308, and this one's the mid-size for weight. I think it's around 10 pounds something, and the barrel length is 24 inches. The 243 is a 26-inch barrel, and the 308 is really compacted at a 20-inch barrel. You know what? A 20-inch barrel on a 308 is plenty. My Remington 700 had a 26-inch barrel, and I often looked at it as kind of a waste of length, because I know there's plenty of guys that were getting similar velocity and accuracy out of their 20-inch barrel Remington 700s. So I was kind of like, well, why do I need this extra 6 inches? You know, can I tailor a load and get a little bit more accuracy? Kind of. I think I was maybe getting 30 or 40 feet per second more out of the round. Is that worth a 6 inches barrel increase? No, not for me anyway. So, you know what, a 20-inch barrel on this rifle, I look as perfect. That's fine. And that, again, that help kind of keeps the weight down a little bit. That being said, with the 243, would you need a muzzle brake on this? Absolutely not. Would you need it on the 308? No, but it would be nice, I guess. Do I need it on this one? I'm right at the kind of in-between. The 140 grain 6.5 Creedmoore really doesn't have a lot of recoil. Would it help me stay on target and watch the round go in? Yeah, maybe. I already kind of can. It does jump a little bit. Would a muzzle brake make it better? Yeah, maybe. Will I do it? Maybe. Maybe. Hard to say. I'm not under a lot of pressure to do so. I don't feel it to be a screaming necessity. If it was in 308, I probably would. Pushing a 160 grain Match King out of it, yeah, probably. It'd probably be just enough to go, yeah, okay, I'll go find a muzzle brake for it. 243, I don't think you'd need it. I really don't think you'd need it at all. It'd be so mild. Now, that being said, could I put a new shooter behind this thing? You know what? Normally I would say no for this style of rifle. On this thing, yeah. Yeah, I think I could. It's really comfortable to shoot. The recoil's so modest on it. I don't think it would teach them a flinch at all. I think the opposite would be true. It would teach them that, no, hey, this isn't too bad, and they, you know, hey, this is fun. Yeah, it's loud, but it jumps a little, but just a little, right? You know, they could, just as long as they freeze, once they, you know, they fall through in their trigger, they're going to still see the same target. So, you know, I think this would actually be a fine rifle to throw a new shooter behind, and it would certainly help them build confidence, because it'd be hard to go wrong with it, really, to be honest. Anyway, so I'm sure that's more than enough. I'm trying to look at the time. I can't see. It's too dark. That's probably a pretty long video for me, but I really wanted to get something out there. Normally I'd wait much longer to shoot a video on a rifle, but the initial results are just so positive that I can't really keep my mouth shut about it. And these rifles are starting to show up on the shelf. Hopefully the 6.5 Creedmoore will follow it too with the popularity. And I think anybody thinking about this rifle is rest assured you're going to get a good rifle. I'm very, very happy with it. I don't see anything that can fail on it. It's very sturdy, and it just the variety of options it gives you is just, for an off-the-shelf rifle, it's just, you know what, Ruger's really come out with a game changer. They really have. Maybe start taking a look at Ruger stock, I guess. It's like, wow, they really threw a wrench into some people's plans on price point of entry precision rifles, because, you know, prior to this, I thought about 3 or 4 grand would be kind of a good point for all these features and that accuracy, and here they've done it for well under 2 grand. Here in Canada, I think they're at this point in time between $1,600 and $1,700 Canadian prior to tax. I paid much less than that, so I was lucky, and those of us that did, I think we got a real bargain. But you know, at $1,600 or $1,700 Canadian, I don't think you can go wrong with it. There is no competition for it at this time. I just don't see it. Anyway, that's for now. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover on the Ruger Precision Rifle. And from Vancouver Island, have yourself a great day.